Are you on drugs or something?
Hi everyone, this is the Watch Dogs Ultimate Review, and I'd like to start off by first saying that there's a feature on this game that asks you if you want the permadeath on or off. Now I put the feature on, but this doesn't get properly activated until a certain mission. Now it'll state on it that when you get to this point, because I thought when my first character died, I thought, oh, you took a bit of a tumble, and I thought, oh, that's the end of him, and I quite liked the character you made up. But that wasn't the actual fact. It does go from, from a certain point. There are spoilers in this review as well, so I'm going to go through the full game of start to finish. If you don't want to stick around, I understand, because obviously a lot of people want to experience it themselves. But I just got to give a heads up, there are going to be spoilers, and I'm going to be telling you basically the ins and outs of what's going on. So, yeah, let's go back to the first part, that the permadeath won't be activated till a certain point. What really surprised me is how quickly you don't want the characters to die, really, because each normal person, this is the thing, normal people in this game are more interested and intriguing, which is the goal basically with this game, than the actual special characters that they give you. Not saying that the special characters aren't good or they aren't fun, but the average Joe was more appealing to me than the actual fancy characters. They do try to push too much of the really stylized edginess, not as much as Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs 2 was trying to be really hip, and I couldn't get my head around Watch Dogs 2. I just didn't like it. Watch Dogs 1, I loved that game, and I will say this, I really loved this game as well. Not the only fact that this is the first game that's been out for maybe 6 to 8 months, really, but it's a game that you invest in the world. I love London as a game, playable game area. Syndicate is one of my favourite games of all time. So for me, Watch Dogs Legion in London was great. The other thing that really kind of put this up there a lot more for me as well is that the originality of it. We've always wanted to be anyone in a game, basically. We've always said it for years. Every character that you'd love to just, the normal Joe, the average NPC, this is what they've done, basically. They've given you the opportunity to be anyone and not do anything to an extent, because certain people have limitations. But the characters have got their own little unique. Don't get me wrong, the characters, I did see a lot of duplicate features of the characters, and it was apparent through most of the stuff. I probably came across it maybe out of my total playtime of about 52 hours. I would say that I probably came across it about 10 to 11 times where the character was a duplicate of herself. So when you think of that context of their many hours and the areas that they've got, I only really noticed it when I was approaching a new character to take on to the team. The premise of it is that London has fallen, basically, and it's up to DedSec to rally up the people, or kind of get the people on their side, because they think they are the bombers, the people who destroyed most of London. It's not. It's organised by several different groups. Day Zero is the main villain, if you like that. There's Cass then, who's the Albion Enforcers. It's Kelly clan. She's a crazy old woman, which is a psychopath selling body parts and stuff like that. There's a character called Sky, which she uploads herself to the neural network and stuff, and that storyline kind of got lost in this game for me, if I'm honest. So it was like a kind of a sub entry. You had a choice in that as well to help her upload herself, or destroy her. I destroyed her because I thought, right, if that's the whole idea of this game, to just break everything down to basics, then we'll get rid of her. So I did that, but I haven't seen a playthrough or I haven't seen anyone do it where they've alternated. So I will, at some point, maybe go back through this game, do a second playthrough, and then try and save her and see what happens. That could be a nice feature. The second playthrough probably would be done on a PS5 as well. I felt that this game was more suited for a PS5, even though I haven't played a PS5 yet. The glitching and the tearing of the game environment, I think it struggled to hold on a PS4, and I think a lot of the transitional games now that we're gonna have, like Valhalla coming up, Cyberpunk especially, I know that Cyberpunk are struggling to kind of keep it to the PS5 and the Xbox to a steady frame rate and stuff, whereas the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, I think it's the Series X, there's so many different types of Xboxes, and that new series that's going to be coming out, they're going to have a more fluid game with every new game that's coming out now. The problem, like I said, with this was that literally environments, and when you were driving, sometimes you were just walking, the tearing was awful. I know they're doing an update for this soon, so that'll give it a nicer feature. The features would be nice. I think you can see it in the gameplay here that it quite glitches and tears a lot, drops and stuff. So that's the characters basically that you're facing, and I said London is vastly huge in opportunities for you to explore and play different environment games of bare knuckle fighting and darts, and just if you want to just get plain out drunk, you can just walk around the streets, which I like to do in most of open world games. I just like to take it in because they are quite atmospheric sometimes, and the music is on point, which is a good feature. You do get lost, and I think anyone who plays open world games to this extent will get lost in Watch Dogs. The nighttime is my most preferred time to spend on Watch Dogs Legion. I'll be honest with you, it's a lot more prettier. The lighting's a lot more perfect, subtle, and it's on point. The lighting is brilliant. Not that the daytime is tarnished in any way, but the nighttime is a lot better. The other features that I found of this game was the quirkiness of, like I said, there's so many vast different characters. Certain characters could roll, certain characters couldn't. The old grannies, as I'll say, are brilliant. They can't do anything basically. They waddle around. They do, and it's what they showed in the original trailers way back with each character has its own little bits they can do and don't, and the old granny trying to get up over a little edge was absolutely brilliant in my opinion. You felt like the character was as it should have been. It's that perfect kind of balance, and the walking styles of each character as well are completely different, so it makes that individuality a lot more on point, which is great. Bagley is your AI, and he's a brilliant feature. I think that Bagley really helps along this game as well. He's that little niche in it that helps everything else. I think without Bagley, I think this game wouldn't have been as good. I personally, it's got that written into its factors anyway. But the character as a whole is a brilliant sub character. He's not a sub character. He's quite huge in it, but you don't really think it. He becomes second nature. He does after a while. So it's a great little thing, and his humor is spot on. The characters themselves got great humor. There's a spy that I actually loved using, and he's old Russian classy kind of style. As I said, it's not just set to London people. You know what I mean? There's different walks of life. I had an Irish character, plus several different types of characters that really made up the Watch Dogs Legion experience for me. I was a bit optimistic when they said it was going to be coming out this year, because it was kind of dropped. We didn't know if we were going to get it this year, and obviously with Valhalla as well, we didn't know if we were going to get that. So it's nice that they have brought them out. There's the other thing with, I will say this now, is nothing to do with Watch Dogs, but Valhalla, I've been told that there's some unexpected delays in that game. I'm not going to be able to get that day one, unfortunately, which is separate to this review. But I think the back catalogue with everything of COVID's played a huge part of this year's industry on everything, personal lives of not just, not that gaming is the be all and end all of everything, but it is an escape for a lot of people, and it's nice to have Watch Dogs to come into. This time of year now, we do get an influx of a massive array of games, and we've got the new consoles launching this year. We know that Xbox hasn't got nothing to really give us apart from the medium, and as for PS5, the only thing that's given us is Demon Souls. So they're on a level par, in my opinion. If I'm honest with you, there's, if you're a Demon Souls fan, then you're gonna go for the PS5. If you want something that's more not horror based, because Demon Souls is obviously a horror type game, but Xbox obviously as well has got that one exclusive game that they're going to be bringing out for the console. But I think these games are going to be a lot more enjoyable, like I said, on the new console generation. So if people are in doubts of getting a new console, I think you're going to appreciate these games a lot more, especially like Cyberpunk coming out now, and obviously Valhalla, and this obviously COD as well. So as a whole, I would say that Watch Dogs is worth the purchase. It's worth the purchase now. It's still worth the purchase when it goes. Obviously, people wait for it to go on sale, and certain people can't afford certain things, and they don't get pre-ordered items, or pre-ordered items always tarnish a lot of people with the game industry, and I understand that fully. But for me, this was a day one purchase, and I am so glad I bought it on day one. I've experienced this now for, like I said, several amounts of hours. That's taken me right through to the finish of the game. I did a lot of side quests, and which there isn't masses amounts of side quests. They haven't overfilled too much gumph. They've really stripped it back, which is another big thing about this. It's nice and not overpowering. It's not that you feel that you have to do every side quest or every little bit to get it all done. The tech points was one of the main things that I did focus on to get most of the perks of each character's ability, which is nice. It carries across to each character, which is really good when you're in situations. So that's always a bonus. The other thing was that I really didn't really pay a lot of attention to was the kind of liberating the little areas that they've got around everywhere. I did do the little how can I say, sections where you kind of like the counties themselves. They do actually, the boroughs do open up too, so they do give you the map points, and I think there's like 2 or 3 things you've got to do. So it's like you've got to paint the wall, or you've got to download a file somewhere, and they would be maybe like 3 or 4 of these in each area, which wasn't a lot. So then if you wanted to just jump on one of the cargo ships and then go get the tech points, you could just jump up to the ceiling, get the points. You haven't got to worry about infiltrating fully and going through all the system and so forth, which is really nice. You could just concentrate on the main storyline, which is, as I said, is big enough as it is. So it's quite a lot of, and they said there's a lot of characters in that main storyline to keep you going on. So yes, as a whole, I would recommend this wholeheartedly. And if it was me personally at this point where it's standing, before I do the season pass and everything else, and if you do want to see the content for the season pass, it'll be streamed from the PS5 soon. So, well, say soon is when they release the season pass content. But for me, this is probably about an 8 as it is now. I think this could increase up to maybe an 8.57, 8.7 when the content comes out, and I'm itching to see what the difference is when it's played through a PS5. But this is worth a purchase, and I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you guys soon.
They sounded crazy. They are crazy, right, Beg Lady?
Oh no, she's off her fucking lid for sure.